Hey everyone, I think we're live. I'm just checking over here to make sure that we're all set to start this slow practice. And I'm noticing a couple of things already, but I'll live with it. Um, let's see if we're going live here on Substack. Yes, we are. We are live. Now, I want to also see if we have good audio because that's really important for music. So let's check. This is happening. Okay. Now it looks like it's working. So if I see in the comments, let me just go over to my YouTube channel because the YouTube channel is also picking this up. So this is a first for me on the YouTube channel. And 1 second, and then we'll get started. Okay. Your videos. And I'm live right now. And my daughter is coming in. We're live. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going on the Substack. Make sure that it's working. Wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to jump right in. Okay, well, today we're going to take a look at a couple of parts of the Liszt Ballade number 2. I'm going to move my camera to the top here, and I can see that visually I've got several things in the way, but I'm going to go to, if you want to, go to IMSLP, and I'll provide a link for the PDF and IMSLP. It's in the public domain. And let's go to iPhone transition. There we are. Okay, so you can go to IMSLP and you can get the score. I've got my score here. I was just on a call with a composer, a wonderful friend, Gustav Hoyer, and a wonderful pianist, Paul Barnes, for his piano lit class. And here we are. It's a Wednesday night, and we're going to start taking a look at a slow read of this wonderful, wonderful piece. Now let me check. I think you can hear that. I'm going to put some headphones on. And the wonderful thing about live TV is that everything is not as it seems, and we'll get this process down because I plan on doing this quite a bit. And there's only one way to get better, and that's to practice. So, wonderful. Now let me go and check here. Use. Terrific. So this starting point on the Ballade is quite something. The first page. There is a pattern, and it's in B minor. So we know that there may be clues as to the sonata, but we'll get into that. But it looks like it was written in 1854, and we will also talk about that. But what do we do with this first page? Well, I just want to look at the left hand. That's all I'm going to look at in first starting to look at this piece. And if you know anything about Liszt, you know that he takes a theme and says it once, he says it twice, he says it a million different times in different keys, in different modes, in different rhythms, and I guess the technical term of that is called thematic transformation. So if you're just looking at the score, you have this figure, and programmatically it could be the river Styx as Orpheus enters the underworld. And we're getting into that conversation on the Substack. So it's really, really gloomy. Now, notice that there's an eighth note to start that pickup. Okay? It's present. And then you start your triplets. Bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi bobbidi bib. So I am the first thing that I do when I'm learning a piece is really getting into the rhythm of things, okay? And you've all probably played a chromatic scale. So if we start with the second finger on the B, and we go to the first finger, we're doing our Taubman work with the single, and this is a double, single, 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 double. Now, I am incredibly particular about rhythms when I'm going through pieces. So if you think 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, and if you don't want to do that, I suggest bibbidi bobbidi. Bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi, bibbidi bobbidi. And that pattern, friends, goes, at least in my score, 4 lines in the Peters edition. Again, Liszt, if he says it once, he's going to say it a million times. So with this, so I'm hearing all these triplet feels. And then I love this. So if you add sort of the swelling of these hairpin dynamics, so to speak, in the crescendo and then the decrescendo. You get this incredible effect, especially it says, put down your pedal. And then, as we're going along, you want to begin to think about your right hand. So the right hand is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And all these are basically single rotations, right? So you go with the melody, you give it some oomph or speed into the key. over the years, I've developed the counting skill. And the counting skill is something that just checking the audio there. The counting skill is essential in learning this complicated music, okay? So let's take a look. At that second line, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay, cool. So you're probably noticing that there are 3 independent kind of voices that are happening in this first section of the piece. This is very typical for romantic piano music, of which Liszt falls into that category, definitely in the middle of the 19th century. He is Romanticism, my goodness. Anywho, what we have then in romantic piano music is often this sort of 3-voice thing happening at once. So you got the left hand, and then you have this accompaniment figure, and then you have the melody. So melody, accompaniment, and bass, or foreground. Foreground's your melody, middle ground's probably your bass, I would say. I emphasize the bass quite a bit, and then the background is like this accompaniment figure in the middle, this 3-voice kind of texture. So we got and you can hear I'm really putting the pulse, and that comes from slow practicing at the beginning of learning the piece. And really feeling where the bigger beats are, and even the smaller beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when I was, this will make sense later on when the pattern is developed, that you really need to lock in each beat. Not necessarily to accent it physically in your hand, like I just did as an example, but to know where those beats are. It's almost like a tarantella. As fast as you want with the Taubman work. But anywho, and you'll notice that it's marked marcato on that melody line with the kind of the triangle, okay? And that is, yeah, it's supposed to be marked. It's supposed to really feel marked and brought out. And so that's the speed of the key. With the middle part, I'm just pressing the key down and allowing the key to push me back up. Now on the left hand, in terms of the speed and the swelling, I'm putting a little bit more weight at the top. And that's, freedom in the rotation, the singles and the doubles. So, and basically getting a cherry Coke and being able to play that in your sleep, but having that that pulse, etc. You don't need to over practice it. It's just a chromatic scale. And this is your tonic. This is your tonic. B is your tonic. It's just a pattern that goes up to the G, but the emphasis on that F sharp because of the do, so to speak. So isn't that cool? That's probably the river Styx, as we're finding out in our slow read. And all this melody is, friends, something different. And this is so cool how he changes the left hand and the right hand. Yeah, I'm going to jump into this because I'm going to show where he comes back in this left hand. And since this is my first kind of foray into this format and the slow practicing and the slow reading, I might even revisit this, and we're going to take our time. We're going to take our time in learning this piece together. So what we have here, the next part is this. It's the same, but it only goes up to the F sharp and then comes down, and the emphasis on the beat at least is going to be on the E. And then we've got the Adams family. No, that's not the Adams family. It's all chromatic for the Adams family, but it's got a little turn at the end. And this is my fingering. I go 2 down to the G5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. And then we get back to the pattern. So there's only 2 measures of this foray into, I believe it's like a C sharp. What is that? What do the kids call this? It's a half diminished chord. Because this is, yeah, I'm not sure what the kids call it. This would be fully diminished, I think. This is like half diminished, I think. So there's a third, major third at the top. So it's like this major or half diminished kind of sonority. And then we get back. But it's just in here. So you got to be careful, like I just did. I made the mistake of not going down and finishing that idea. Then it goes back. And then it goes to the left hand. But so if this is the melody to start, and then this part is the next part of the melody. And then it's repeated. And there's this sort of anticipation or anticipatory gesture in the rhythm where you have and then it keeps going up compositionally, right? You could write a melody, that's for sure. All right, so we get this. And back to our original pattern. So I was speaking with a student earlier today, and we were talking about the fact that a lot of these virtuosic passages have really unique pianistic patterns in them. And once you kind of get the pattern and look at the keyboard basically, you can really figure out a lot of what the composer was intending. Yes, they were really focused in on the score, but in particular like Liszt and Chopin always wrote with either a piano or like a dummy keyboard, and Liszt had a dummy keyboard as well. So the more we can sort of see the keyboard and how they were thinking about the piano music from a keyboard perspective, the better. And so yeah, do you hear the river Styx at the beginning of this piece? I think I do. And we will continue this journey together. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I had a lot of fun. I hope on the other side you did too, but living and learning here, as it were, on Substack. So thanks so much for tuning in. Bye for now.